Hello and welcome to Wealthy Women's Wednesday. Welcome, welcome. Hello. I'm so excited to get you these cures for overwhelm. How many of you just find yourself as entrepreneurs sometimes feeling like the walls are closing in on you? Overwhelm, overwhelm, overwhelm. Your head won't stop spinning and telling you all the things that you need to be doing. Did I remember this? And did I remember this client? And what should I be doing on Facebook? And it's like never ending, right? I get it. And that is why I knew today we had to dive into this topic of overwhelm so that you can get my 3 favorite cures for overwhelm. These are things that pop me out of overwhelm immediately. These are things my clients use year after year to pop themselves out of overwhelm, because I've been doing research and surveying. We just surveyed over 150 clients that graduated from our year-long programs. What is the number one thing that you struggled with in the beginning of the program? Overwhelm and isolation. When we start businesses and there's so many things that we can be doing all at one time, it is so easy to get caught and drug off course by the big O, overwhelm. And so I've been working with my clients really closely and asking them what works and working within myself and working with my team. And I have discovered several things that really work. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Emily. Hi, Claire. Tell us you're here and tell us what is your biggest trigger that sends you into overwhelm. Like, what is the story going on in your head? What are the external circumstances when you find yourself in the most overwhelm? Post below. And as we go through these, you guys, let me know what questions you have and let me know, again, what you feel like is the thing that sends you into the most overwhelm. Hi, Candace. Hi, Terry. So that we can really have an experiential opportunity to get you the tools to feel the shift within your body today from overwhelm into something more grounded, more peaceful, more productive, and more available for your business and for your life. Because the whole point of Women Rocking Business is to teach you how to build a business that fits into your life, rather than having to have your life fit into your overly busy business schedule, right? So here are the 3 ways out of overwhelm. Number 1, I know this is going to sound overly simple. It's going to sound simple. But until you hear me actually plead my case, don't turn off your listening brains. Number 1, be willing to say the N word, right? Many of us women have a hard time saying no. And I'll never forget when I went and heard Elizabeth Gilbert speak. And I actually got to have lunch with her at a private sort of authors, gathering. And I asked her, like, what is her biggest challenge in becoming Elizabeth Gilbert? And she said, Sage, the biggest challenge for me was that I didn't have to just say no to the things that I didn't want to do. I had to say no to things that I really, really, really wanted to do. And I remember when she said that, it really clicked in, like, oh, to have the business of my dreams, there's going to be sacrifices. And it doesn't mean that I don't take care of myself. It doesn't mean that I don't get massages. It doesn't mean that I don't go on vacations with my friends. It doesn't mean that I don't keep creating the family life that I want. But what it does mean is that there are things that I would say yes to if I didn't have the business that I end up saying no to. And I invite you to really ask yourself at the end of the day, what's more important, your dream business or some of the other things that you're filling your schedule up with? You've got to leave flex in your schedule. You've got to have some of that wiggle room, because that spaciousness is where the ideas pop in. That's where the $1 million brainstorms come from. That's where the energy to, actually reach your potential clients come from. the extra energy to build your platform, to get out there, having that flex, that spaciousness in your schedule, that's where the creativity bubbles up within you and you go, oh, I want to do a Facebook Live on overwhelm, or I want to do a Facebook Live on emotional intelligence, or I want to make a video on this topic. And when you can tap into the thing that's most alive for you, write this down, this is so critical. When you can tap into the thing that's most alive for you and you put it out there in a timely manner, oftentimes it's the thing that's most alive for your potential clients, because the universe is working through us all the time. And I call that being on the zeitgeist. You guys have heard this word zeitgeist. Zeitgeist is like the unfolding of consciousness. And when you can start tapping into that unfolding of consciousness in your marketing, and as you reach your clients, you start to actually speak into the very thing that your clients are waking up thinking about. And that's when your marketing gets so powerful, because your clients go, oh my God, it's like she's talking right to me. And when they get on the phone with you to hear about your programs, they're going to be that much more ready to just say, yes, of course I want to invest in myself through what you're offering. So Terry, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Isabel, welcome. Denise Tuffy, it's so good to see you here. Barb, yes, when you're learning something new, you often find that it's too much at once. Awesome, Barb. So you may want to find a way to regulate that. When you guys are learning, take notes, keep breathing. Remember that you're learning, but it doesn't all have to stay stored in your body, right? So this concept of leaving flex in your schedule allows you to do a couple more things that are really important. Having flex in your schedule allows you to have the mental capacity and the focus and the peace of mind to make sure that you're prioritizing income producing activities. Because how often do you work on things in your business that aren't actually income producing activities, right? How often do we sit behind our computers and, fiddle with our website, or we're on Facebook, like not really doing anything that's going to get us clients, right? Like it's so easy to go sort of create content in a closet. And meanwhile, there's actually people out there that are seeking the solutions that you offer, and they're willing to pay for it. So leaving that flex in your schedule is going to allow you the time and the energy to get to what I call the front side of your business thinking. You've got to get to the front side of it. You've got to be anticipating, if I have a speaking engagement in 2 weeks, what are all the things I need to do between now and then to actually have a full room, to have butts in seats, right? I can't tell you how many times my clients have admitted to me that they put a speaking engagement on the calendar, but they didn't actually do the things required to fill the room. They didn't pick up the phone. They didn't call anybody. They didn't get email blasts out. They didn't post it on Facebook. They didn't invite all their Facebook friends, right? You've got to actually give yourself the time in your schedule to really prioritize the things that you know are going to bring those clients to you. And then ask yourself, are you GSDing? You guys know what that means? GSD. Are you GSDing? Are you getting shit done? This is huge, right? Because there's a lot of spinning of the wheels that could happen as entrepreneurs. There's a lot of very important things that we need to be working on, like emailing our friends or responding to that party invitation for Friday night, right? Are you actually getting shit done? Are you sitting your butt down and getting it done? Excuse my French. And I say this with total love. It is so easy for us creative women to get distracted. So goddesses, be sure that you are this is what I do every night before the end of the day. I literally go through I have a paper calendar still, and maybe I'll do a training on how I schedule my time out next week. Would that be good? Every night, I actually go through my calendar, not night, like afternoon before I close down my workstation. I go through my calendar and I always am clear on what are the big 3 or so things that I need to do tomorrow, first thing, that are going to move me closer to my goals the fastest. This is a great strategy, and I'll actually expand more on this next week. The forethought that you put into planning your day, the day tomorrow, is going to save you literally 15 minutes, 30 minutes, hours potentially of having to chase around after the things you know you should be doing. An ounce of pre-framing saves a pound of reframing. Have you ever heard that saying? It's like when you can actually give the following day of your life a little thought. And I learned this from like the CEO of Facebook was actually talking about this. When you can give tomorrow a little bit of thought before you close down your desk today, you will save yourself so much time and energy. Because if you've ever had that experience of feeling like you're chasing the tail of your business or you're in reaction mode all day, part of it is because you didn't literally just take 5 or 10 minutes yesterday to sit down and kind of think through your day and imagine it going smoothly and really think through what are the transitions, what are you going to need to have tomorrow be like the most epic day of your life, right? Are you guys excited? This is such good stuff. So this brings us to the second cure for overwhelm. So what's the second cure for overwhelm? The second cure for overwhelm is to ramp up your self-care. Again, I know this sounds simple, but as your leadership in the world goes up, look at it, the trajectory of leadership, right? Going up. Guess what has to happen to match that leadership? Your self-care has to also increase. Your self-care has to go like this to maintain this ramp up. This, and what do I mean by leadership? I mean taking risks, putting yourself out there, speaking, getting on video camera, stretching your muscles, doing things you've never done before, marketing yourself, visibility, all of this stuff. You can feel it, right? It stretches you and it stretches your nervous system. And those adrenals, those delicate, beautiful parts of your nervous system, give it a little rub right now just to love it up. Those parts are going to need extra self-care. So what does that mean? It means more body work. It means more walks in the fresh air with the sun on your face. It means more meditation. It means a little bit more downtime. Right? How can you take immaculate care of yourself so that you can show up and be taking these risks and saying yes to this leadership with the chi, with the energy, with the vitality that magnetizes people, right? I love hearing that you guys are stepping in to a life of less overwhelm. So keep taking notes on the thread below and keep letting me know. I still need to know what triggers you into overwhelm so we can address that before we get off the training. David White has this amazing quote about body breakdown. I think so often we think that our bodies breaking down is a sign to not build our business or that something's wrong or that we're not cut out for this. I want to speak into the body breakdown. It's not always that you're working too hard, that your body's breaking down. That's not always the reason. So David White is one of my favorite poets. He's one of the great voices of our world, right? And David White has a quote that says, "The cure to exhaustion isn't necessarily rest. It's wholeheartedness." So what does he mean? What he means is that your gremlins will make a case, a very strong case, for the fact that, oh my God, you're working too hard. Oh my God, your body's gonna break down. Oh my God, you're not gonna be able to sustain this. Oh my God, you're exhausted. What's wrong with you? Whatever that sounds like for you, I'd love to hear. So post it below. But what I mean by this is, have you ever had the experience of your mind telling you, oh my God, I'm so tired. I cannot take one more step. I'm exhausted. And then you show up for a client call, or you make a video, or you do a client session, or you do a speaking engagement. And after it, you're like on fire. You're like, oh my God, I'm not exhausted at all. I feel amazing, right? Because you just opened up your heart channel and let the universe flow through you. I think one of the big lies that we tell ourselves is that we're doing this all alone, The 2 reasons why entrepreneurs give up, the 2 reasons why message-based businesses fail: overwhelm and isolation. And I am committed to keeping you out of both of those. And one of the ways out is to recognize that you are not your thoughts, and your thoughts are not always true. That oftentimes, rather than like taking a 5-hour nap or taking a 5-week vacation on the beach somewhere, what you really are asking for, what your soul is really craving, is wholeheartedness. What if the cure to exhaustion wasn't just rest? What if the cure to exhaustion was wholeheartedness? That opportunity to get back into our heart's work. So exciting, right? Because what we know then is that plugging into that channel of inspiration and being the gift that we came here to be on behalf of the universe working through us, that is what's going to fuel us and juice us the most. And it doesn't mean we don't need rest, and it doesn't mean we don't need self-care. But right, like, how does Brene Brown do it? How does Michael Beckwith do it? Like, day after day. I mean, Michael Beckwith, he has speaking engagements like every day of the week. That guy is unstoppable. He's given me like a whole new range of possibility in terms of my own relationship with my own leadership. And if you've never seen Reverend Michael Beckwith, tune into him on Sunday morning at Agape. Just type in Agape Michael Beckwith. He does sermons every Sunday morning there. Multi-dimensional, non-denominational, incredible spiritual leadership messages for leaders like us. And he's unstoppable. And I remember one time he was asked at a conference, Michael, how do you do it? How do you do this thing that you do? In fact, it was Jean Houston. You guys know Jean Houston? Oh my gosh. I was at this conference and I was sitting in the second row. Jean Houston was sitting right in front of me, and I had just actually gotten to have a conversation with her. And she gets up on stage in the middle of Reverend Michael Beckwith's talk. Like, literally, she gets up on stage right in the middle of his talk. And he's going off, you know, if you've ever seen Michael talk, I mean, he just is like, he's like channeling divine downloads from the universe, like 100 miles an hour. And she literally like interrupts him. And she, you know, she's older. She's gotten pretty old. This was just a couple years ago. And she kind of gets up there and she's like, Michael Beckwith, Michael Beckwith, I have a question to ask you. You're driving me crazy. And there's like 2,000 people in the room, and the whole audience is like, what is she doing? And she says, I want to know how you do what you do. How do you do it? How are you so unstoppable? How do you never run out of energy? And he gets really quiet and he says, Jean, I'm always only doing one thing. No matter whether I'm giving a sermon, no matter whether I'm in a prison, no matter whether I'm on a radio show, no matter whether I'm working with my team or meeting with my family, I am always only doing one thing. I am completely plugged in. He's plugged in. He's just completely plugged in to universal supply. So how do we do that on behalf of our message as stewards of our message, right? So exciting, so beautiful. I love these. I love these. Oh, Sarah, thank you. I'm so glad you think this is a fabulous way to start the day. Terry says, how to use technology, how to not get overwhelmed by technology. Terry, I so hear you on that. I'm a big believer, by the way, you guys, in electromagnetic, the electromagnetic diffusers. Like I have, oftentimes I have my little crystals near my computers. I have my salt lamps are amazing electromagnetic diffusers. So I always have a salt lamp plugged into my computer. I always recommend that you try out different, different products. Q-Link has some great products. Q-Link has some great products like necklaces and bracelets that you can wear that just dispel the electromagnetic frequencies. So that can help you a lot with technology. Also, when you're working with technology, make sure you have windows open in your house, and then make sure you have at least an hour a day to tech detox. You know, I at least have an hour a day after I end work where I go out to the beach, or I get outside and I put my cell phone away and I put all the technology away and I just feel all of it detoxing out of me. Your body will let go of that stuff. One of the reasons why we start to feel overwhelmed by technology is that the electromagnetic energy, it just builds up in us. We don't actually take the time to, let it go and release it. Getting in water, saltwater baths, these are all super important as part of self-care. So goddesses who are going to be completely armed with overwhelm diffusing tools. Number one, keep flex in your schedule and say no. Number two, ramp up your self-care. Number three, get it out of your head. That's it. Get it out of your head. Write that down. Get it out of your head. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that if you're keeping lists in your head, if you're thinking about what you need to be doing in your head, you are using valuable mental energy that you want to have freed up to be the channel that you're actually meant to be in the world. As a messenger, as a thought leader, you can't keep stuff in your head. Bless my team. Thank you to every woman who has ever worked for me and with me in Women Rocking Business, because one of the things that I do is when I need help, I let them know I am going to add tasks to our base camp. I'm going to pass off projects. If I really need your help, I might text you in the middle of the day and say, I need help with this. I do not hang on to it. I let it go. And until you have a team, until you have an assistant, you've got to have somewhere to put that stuff. All right. So when I first started out, I trained myself. This is going to be a stretch for some of you guys, but I trained myself. This is huge. I trained myself to, when I thought of something that I needed to do, I literally would open up my calendar on my phone or in my trusty paper notebook. I would open up my calendar and I would plug the thing that I knew I needed to do into my calendar. Oh my gosh, I have a signature talk coming up in 2 weeks. When can I put a couple of hours into marketing my signature talk? Thursday afternoon. Okay, plug it in. 2 to 4, Thursday afternoon. I am spending those 2 hours marketing my signature talk. Nothing else is going to get in the way of that. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Do you hear me clucking, chicken? That's what my dad always used to say. Do you hear me clucking, big chicken? Here's the thing. When we have to-do lists in our head, it's a slow drain of energy. It's exhausting. It's one of the reasons why you feel overwhelmed. So get it out of your head, get it onto paper, get it into your calendar. For many years, I always put my to-do lists right in my calendar. I could open up my calendar and I could see, here's what I need to do today, right? Thanks, Rebecca Henry, for hearing my clucking. I could open up my calendar and I could see what I have to do today and when I could easily at a glance see what does my whole week look like. I love these calendars where you can see the whole week at once, because then it's really easy for me to plug in the things that I need to do into the empty spots so that I don't have to hang on to when am I going to get this done. And I also don't have to have a to-do list that's like 5 miles long. Some of you guys have those yellow legal pads and you're making yourself to-do lists and they're like 5 miles long. And that's exhausting too, just thinking about how am I ever going to cross everything off on that to-do list. You see, the benefit of actually plugging it straight into your calendar is that then you don't have to think about it at all. It's in your calendar. It takes a little bit of developing a new muscle when you first learn to do this. It'll take a couple weeks to get the hang of it. You're going to feel a little clunky. And at first it's going to feel probably like it takes you more time to try to figure out when am I going to get that done. But the cool thing is that once you start thinking that way, you're going to be able to build a schedule out completely around like your ideal week. Like, what do I like to do on Mondays? What do I like to do on Tuesdays? And you're always going to know when your open slots are to be able to GSD and get shit done. And it becomes automatic. And everything in, like for me and for many of my clients, they've reported this, everything in your field just kind of settles because there's a place. It's kind of like having your house organized. It's like there's a place for all the things that need to get done. There's a place for it in your week. And I'll talk a little bit more about this next week when I teach you guys some of my favorite feminine time management systems. But for now, I invite you to start plugging things straight into your calendar. Very, very, very powerful. And what this allows you to do is also to start to think about what do I love having my weeks look like? Like for me, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the days that I see all my clients. And Mondays and Thursdays are completely available for my get shit done tasks. To meet with referral partners. Mondays and Thursdays are available to do all the marketing that I like to do, to work with my copywriting team, to work with my team and make sure everybody's got what they need, and to do creative projects. And Fridays, I don't schedule anything really. And I take a week off pretty much every month. So next week, I will get more into the details of how to really set that freedom schedule up for yourself. But for now, just want to review. Hi, Megan Clemens. It's so good to see you. Number one, keep flex in your schedule and be willing to say no. Number two, ramp up your self-care to maintain the leadership and the risks that you're taking in the world. And number three, get out of your head and get it out of your head and onto a piece of paper. Okay, get those details out of your head and onto a piece of paper or into your phone. We walk around with little computers all the time. These things can hold so much information for us so that we can just let it go. We can just completely let it go and forget it. And that's the goal, to be able to walk through your life actually not holding on to anything. Like that's the big goal, right? To be able to walk through your life completely present to each moment so that we don't miss the treasures that our friends and our family and our daughters and our sons and our mothers, bring to us. Just the moments of life. That's why we do these businesses in the first place, to help people, to make a difference. And what's cool is that when you get out of overwhelm and you have spaciousness like this, you can literally just like check in on your clients. I called one of my clients the other day, right before she went into a 3-day event. And it was like, she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're on the phone with me. And it was like the biggest gift of my day to be able to call her up and just give her love and support her right before her big event, like completely spontaneously. And I was able to do it because of the flex that I've left in my schedule. So take these 3 cures for overwhelm and make them your own, right? Put some Post-it notes up. Plug a reminder into your phone. I actually have my overwhelm cures in my phone so that when I get overwhelmed or if I start spinning out, one of mine that's in my phone is breathe. Literally, I'll just plug in. It's a contact. I created it as a contact in my phone. I have a contact named overwhelmed. Question mark, smiley face. And then there's a bunch of little reminders to Sage of what she can do when she's overwhelmed. Love myself up. Give yourself a kiss right now. Megan taught me that. Thank you so much. I love that. So goddesses, last announcement of the day. Next week is going to be our last Wealthy Women's Wednesday for the summer. I'm taking the summer off to date and meet my man and hang out and love myself up in the sun. And don't worry, you're still going to be hearing from me every week with a video that we will make for you and deliver to your inbox, and we'll put it in the Women Rocking Business Sisterhood group so you can still hang out in the sisterhood group and get all of the sisterhood and connection that you need. I highly recommend, if you guys are not in the sisterhood group, there are some incredible resources in there, women supporting each other, women loving each other up. So hop into the sisterhood group. Starting in June, your weekly videos are going to be posted in the sisterhood group every Wednesday morning. They will not be live. I might go live because I might wake up one day and just say, oh my gosh, I feel like going live today. But I also might not. I might feel like just making you a video when I'm down on the beach and spending the summer dating so that I get to meet my man. If you know of any single amazing men that want to be a dad, send them my way. Thank you for being the very best part of Women Rocking Business and the very best part of Wealthy Women's Wednesdays. And I will see you live one more time next week to teach you more about my feminine freedom schedule. And goddesses, don't forget that your clients are waiting for you. They really are. There's people out there right now that are waiting for you. They're not waiting for someone like you. They're actually waiting for you. So thank you for sending me good juju on my own path as a woman who's consciously creating my next soul family. And thank you for being by my side as we create businesses that allow us to have the lives that we've been waiting for, like our dream lives. It's really incredible what can happen as we build the freedom structures into our careers to allow us to go where we want to, when we want to, with who we want to go with. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. I love you. I'll see you next week. Thanks for posting. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Isabel. Thank you, Dawn. And keep taking care of each other in the Women Rocking Business Sisterhood group. Keep going into that group and asking for what you need. There's an amazing sisterhood there. Mwah. Love you all. Bye.